We're leaving Nova Scotia. We've come back into New Brunswick, and now we're heading for Prince Edward Island. And it's the true island here in Canada. In fact, some of the most amazing things about this province include how to get there. There's a ferry, of course, but there's also the Confederation Bridge, one of the most amazing structures and engineering accomplishments in this country. Off we go to the land of the best tasting potatoes, beautiful beaches, warmest waters in Canada, and of course, home of Anna Green Gables, which we've all heard about, just once or twice. It's vibrant, it's welcoming, and rumor has it, they seem to have embraced the electric highway. We're gonna go find out if they have or not, and if there's any hiccups in the system. So join me, let's head for PEI and get totally trucked up. It's raining a little bit. Actually, it's raining a lot. It's kind of like a monsoon. My windshield wipers are gonna fly off. But outside of that, everything's fine. We're about to cross Confederation Bridge in about, 24 kilometers going from New Brunswick into Prince Edward Island. I'm hoping to capture this because it's basically a bridge going out into the sea. I'm gonna put my GoPro on the hood of the truck and say, let's try it. PEI has a very good system for making sure people stick around. The bridge crossing going to Prince Edward Island is free. When you try to return home, they charge you. Come on in, can't leave, like Hotel California. I think they're onto something. I'm not quite sure what the return toll is. If we've noticed the population dramatically increasing since the bridge construction, I think that would answer all of our questions. Of course, we're gonna be driving on it. It's not like we can go out into a boat or a dory and film the bridge in its entirety, but I'll see what I can come up with. I don't even know if it's floating. I mean, the ocean's deep. I wonder if they use some kind of shoal or narrows or something. I have no idea. I should really look it up. I should know what I'm talking about, but rarely do I. So why should I start changing now? I found a little pullout. Of course I did. This little tiny rest stop thingy, and it's got a charger because we're still technically in New Brunswick. And we got this little walk-up ramp, and I found out some really interesting information that I'm going to share with you. It just so happens that I managed to get us a view. It's not much of a view, but it did stop raining just for us. Okay, no, I'm wrong. It's raining. There's that. That's the thing. It's considered one of the greatest engineering marvels in Canadian history. And I find out that the freaking thing is 8 miles, 12 kilometers long. It is the longest bridge in the world over ice-covered waters. This section can freeze solid between here and PEI. It's like something out of some kind of fantasy book or some kind of sci-fi cool, I don't know, I know it's just a bridge. All around here, I don't know if you can see that. Way off in the distance is lighthouses, and let's go explore. It's 5:30, we're just about to lose light for the day, and we are driving on Prince Edward Island, and I just thought I'd share a few tidbits before I find myself a hotel for the night. I'm heading to the capital of Charlottetown. The entire population of the province of Prince Edward Island is approximately 150,000 people. To put that into perspective, Vancouver Island, which is a tiny part of the province of British Columbia, has a population of 865,000. It is a very small landmass. In fact, I believe it might be smaller as a province than the island of Vancouver Island. All I heard about from people about Prince Edward Island is it's flat. Well, it's not flat. Since I came across the Confederation Bridge, it's been rolling. I'm right now going down into a valley. I imagine as I get closer to Summerside and some other areas in PEI, you could play billiards on a 7-kilometer wide table. One thing I can tell you is there's a hell of a lot of chargers already. As soon as I came off the bridge, there were chargers. There's a Tesla supercharger in Charlottetown, which is why I'm going there, because it accepts max adapters. So I can go and charge up once, find out where all the chargers are for you, but I'm going to try to circumnavigate the entire province on one charge in one day. I mean, why not? This is how you do it in PEI. When I went looking for hotels, every one of them, Hampton up the road, Holiday Inn Express, have these. And they are not just level 2s, they're incredibly fast level 2s. And there's 4 of them, and I've woken up with 100% charge. I was at about 20%, so I filled 80% of my batteries for $16. The capital city of Charlottetown, I believe, has a population of around 35,000 people. What's nice is there's an AX adapter Tesla supercharger. So we're now getting to the point, once everyone gets their adapters, you're okay in PEI. They got 8 of them when there wasn't a single car parked at them this morning. And there's multiple flow charger locations in the downtown core. And they're not just singles, they're doubles. So in a population that's small, you've got all the infrastructure that you need, all of it. I'm kind of not following a map. I don't know where I'm going. I'm going to stay away from Google Maps because it's constantly trying to get me to go on the most efficient or fastest route. And I want to be a tourist, so I turn the frickin' thing off. The same goes for Ford. After coming from the capital of Halifax with a little less than 500,000 people, and it felt like it had 10 million people because of the congestion, to a city downtown core where there's not a lot of people. Well, it is a Saturday, so we've got to give them that. It's peaceful, it's clean, it's quaint. I think that's the word I'm looking for. It doesn't sound very flattering when you use it these days. But I think here it's flattering. It's soft-spoken. It's also really easy to feature the downtown core and be on our merry little way because, well, it's not that big. Not sure about the plastic palm trees. I find this very interesting, that I'm in the smallest province in Canada with the smallest population of any province in Canada. And in this tiny little zone, I feel I have more space. Back where I come from in the Kootenays, there's a hike that you can do called Mount Buchanan. And there's a trail that we always took the dogs on called Mount Buchanan Access. Well, I'm driving along and there's a sign that says Mount Buchanan. I turn, looking around, waiting. It says Mount Buchanan is this high point, and I'm driving around looking for it, trying to find something that looks kind of like a bump. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm driving on it. There's all kinds of fruit trees planted up here in orchards, and there's a winery, and and we are going up to the top of something. I would call this anything other than a mountain. I would call this a rise at best. But there's supposed to be some lighthouses down here, and like always, there's almost as many churches as there are houses. In fact, here, churches seem to be almost as popular as Tim Hortons. We're at Wood Island Junction. Wood Island Ferry is the main way that people came over before Confederation Bridge was built. Still main ferry going back to the mainland to Nova Scotia. Driven 60 kilometers, I still got 330. Even with all my pissing around, I've been driving up and down every little road to go see what I can find in lighthouses and churches. But yet there's 2 more 100 kilowatt. Actually, one's 50, one's 100, I believe. And then they've got a level 2 for people who are staying in the area or using the market or working here to charge up. So pretty nice. Not been a problem. The biggest problem has been there's nothing. Like there's no convenience store, there's no coffee shop, there's no gas station. Since I left Charlottetown, there's been nothing. But a lot of things are closed. I think this whole place is closed. I'm going to see if I can find a washroom. Every farmhouse that I'm passing, almost every one, has solar panels. So many houses here have solar panels. I don't know if it was a government initiative, but I just think it makes a lot of sense for keeping your costs down. Also, there's a lot of wind turbines that are not in wind farms. There'll be one, then there'll be another one. The other thing is, there's not a lot of EVs. Not yet, and it's the perfect place for them. So the infrastructure's there. The way you travel here is you charge up once, you can drive the whole province. If you're coming here to camp, you're coming from somewhere else, you'd hit the Tesla supercharger and that would do you for the province. Or if you're not on the Tesla supercharger, you book into your hotel when you arrive. Almost all of them have level 2s at the hotels. You plug in the level 2s You wake up to a full EV in the morning, and whatever holiday plans you have, you can do them all that day. If you're going back to the hotel that night, you just plug right back in and do it all over again. You never need these chargers. For residents who are traveling the distances between spots, you can just hit and go. You know there's another one 50 kilometers away. Just go to the next place. I think a lot of people who are getting EVs aren't concerned here about fast chargers, though. They're just charging at home. And most people are spending all their time here in their province. They're not going anywhere else. If they are, they're going to New Brunswick, and then everything you want is already there. Basically now we've gone all the way along the south shore facing Nova Scotia. I could see Nova Scotia along the coastline. And now we've gone all the way out to East Point, and we're coming back on the north shore. And we're gonna keep right on going. But we're at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So far since we've been in PEI, the total trip to date is 275 kilometers since we went over that bridge. And we've driven half the province. I have 247 left. Oh, is it ever cold? Aptly put, this is known as Shipwreck Point. And for obvious reasons, you've got an active Government of Canada lighthouse. I'm getting back in the truck. That wind's got a bite. We're not going to quite make it on one charge circumnavigating the entire island, and that's probably due to me being a dork face and just wanting to go and check stuff out. That's led to a little bit of range loss. I could have maybe made it. I think it would still be pretty tight because there's a big section that, you know, the whole Anna Green Gables-y stuff. And of course, I'm gonna get there in the dark, so I won't be able to see Anna Green Gables, but you probably watched enough of it already. Maybe I'll get lucky and I can film a little bit of where Arthur Montgomery wrote Anna Green Gables. What was her first name again? It's not Kelly. It's, anyway, last name's Montgomery. We're just hovering around a few notches above freezing all day, which is kind of surprising because it hasn't hit frost. Everything's still kind of green. This grass is growing everywhere. It's been a really pleasant drive. We haven't done the Summerside side. Summerside side? Somerville, Summerside, something summer. And then we head back to Charlottetown, and that'll be it. Lucy Maud Montgomery, that's it. I remember now. Well, little secret between you and me. I never read Anne of Green Gables. Don't tell the other Canadians. I thought it was really kind of fluffy, and I got sick and tired of all the CBC specials. Shh, just between, you know, keep it on the hush-hush. Well, we've got these 2 flow fast chargers. We are in Summerside, and we're not going to Anne of Green Gables, Lucy Maud Montgomery's home, because I drove by it. For such an iconic thing, there's all the signs are down the Green Gable route, and I was on it the whole time. But not once did I see a sign going until I got here, and then I pulled it up on the map, and it's 100 kilometers back that way that I already drove by. Yeah, I'm really disappointed. So what we're gonna do is we've got this big last loop to do. I'm gonna figure out how much we gotta do on it. I don't think there's a charger up this big last part. I'll show you on a map what I'm talking about. There's like all these little fingers sticking out, going out into the ocean, and you got to kind of do, which means I might have to stay here a little longer. It's already 4:30. It's getting cold. It's getting late. It's going to get dark soon. I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to be back to the hotel in the dark, but then I can say that I drove all of PEI in one day. Can do it on one charge because we're doing this. This is our first charge, but we still have about 110, 120 kilometers of range, so 70 miles, and I've done 330. Yeah, I'm like 440. My range went up, not down, and that's because of the fact that I never broke 85 kilometers an hour or 50 miles an hour. There's only a couple of highways and all of them are 90. Everything else is 80. And a lot of the times you're doing 70. And that's really good for an electric vehicle. You're using regen all day long. So I was probably making quite a lot of power. All right, well, let's see what kind of trouble we can get into and see what time we get back to the hotel at. But when I get back to the hotel, I won't need to pay for any of this because I'm going to charge overnight and leave with a full truck in the morning, which is awesome. I didn't make it to Green Gables, but being the geeky techo gearhead kind of guy I am, I did find these. I find it far more interesting to walk around some aviation history. Right at sunset, just before the light disappears, I get a chance to enjoy these beasts. I would have had a lot of fun in the United States on Route 66. I can't help myself but pull over and check out all this crazy cool stuff. The ailerons are busted. These planes have probably been through their full life and a little bit more. Oh, look, a flying pug. One of the other reasons for my stop is I'm taking real risk finishing this leg. And I'm about to drive all the way back across Canada from PEI, and it's Saturday night and everything's closed. Everything is closed. I caught a rock on the sidewall, like a large rock on a gravel road, basically sticking up. It was on a bit of not a logging road, but it was a rough piece of the road that they were redoing, and there was a piece of the red rock sticking up. I took my rear tire, and I think it might have just burst some air out of the bead. I checked the tire over thoroughly. I don't think it damaged the tire. I can see where it scraped. Everything here is red soil and red rocks. I could see the red marking on the tire. So we just filled it up. Now everything's closed and taking a risk. Let's see if I can get back to the hotel and do this loop. I'm back at the hotel to get my nice, inexpensive overnight charging so I can leave in the morning full back for Confederation Bridge. It turns out that I think I pushed some air through the seal on that impact. There doesn't seem to be any leak. I reset. The one thing that did keep showing was that the tire was low, but of course it was full. It took a little while to get the sensors to kick in and reset. So I did that and all looks good. It was quite a drive, 279 kilometers extra. I stopped at the same charger, went up to Tignish, then came back along the coastline, and then I went back up to the charger and back into Charlottetown. But I didn't have to charge very long both times because there's no great distance. I'm gonna head out very early in the morning anyway. I'm hoping to get across Confederation Bridge at first light and we can head back. We circumnavigated Prince Edward Island. I'm coming to the end of crossing over Confederation Bridge. In 580 kilometers, we have completed the province of Prince Edward Island. And is it getting the trucked up stamp of approval? Yes, it is. But it's not in the high ranking of provinces across this country, and I'll tell you why. It's a very small province. Its population is 150,000. Its capital city is 40,000. Its landmass, it's much smaller than every other province, but that doesn't hold anything against the province. The reality is you can go anywhere, anytime in Prince Edward Island with an electric vehicle and you're not going to get stranded. That said, there are some challenges. The first being the chargers themselves. If you take a look at the whole province, you only need a dozen or so. And I believe that's what they have out there. This is not a massive cost for the government or for the utility provider to put in fast chargers that are up to date with what people are driving. Not 10 years ago, not 5 years ago, but these are all 50 kilowatt. If you use PlugShare and you set the settings for above 50 kilowatt for a fast charger in the entire province, you'll get nothing. Now you do have Tesla superchargers. They do show up in Charlottetown and they are NACS adapter types. They're V3s, but if you're staying there for several days and you're experiencing the province, especially with an EV truck, you've got some headaches. The first one is there's no pull-throughs at all. And the way these chargers are set up, you're definitely going to have to unhitch your trailer. There's no line where you can pull in from the side, none of that. So boat, trailer, you got a problem of having to unhook. Terribly inconvenient. The other is you're going to be sitting around for a while. The good news is your next charger is only 50 to 100 kilometers away, so you could literally do like 30 minutes and go on. But how many people want to stop every 100 kilometers and be charging up? It would cost them little to nothing, comparatively speaking, from a provincial perspective, to put in a dozen 100 kilowatts or 150 kilowatts. This is not a big cost for a government of a province to do. So step up on that front, PEI. Maybe put in one or two pull-throughs so people with trucks, pulling trailers, pulling boats can celebrate your province. Overall, it definitely deserves its stamp of approval. Congratulations to Prince Edward Island. It's now time to head home. And I know all you Canadians right now are going, what the heck are you talking about, man? There's 10 provinces. You've only done 9. As I mentioned earlier, I can't do number 10. I can't get to Newfoundland because of the dates being pushed back so much. I was supposed to be home by the second week of October, and I've got an 8-day drive going home. But barring an event, unforeseen event of the future, because we never know what's going to happen, but I am planning to be back to Newfoundland, Labrador in early summer, and it's not going to be just a trucked up episode. It's going to be multiple episodes because I have something that I've been lining up, and that's where I'm going to do it. And it's going to be unlike any other video that I've done so far. I've heard from so many of you in the comments. Some of you reached out by messenger and with emails. And I really feel I've got a lot of friends and community. And the support has just inspired me to keep going with this channel. Even though it can be tough at times, I'm going to keep this channel growing thanks to all of you. I just want to thank you so much. And many of you have supported me. And that's been a big deal. I'm shooting for a new GoPro, a drone. I really want to provide more quality content to you. I want to work on the audio inside the truck to improve that. I just can't afford any of it now, but thanks to a lot of you, I'm getting closer. So even if you can't support me with a super thanks or on Patreon, that's okay. The biggest thing for me is that you click like, subscribe, and that bell notification icon, because that helps me with YouTube. That is my lifeblood. As always, thanks for all your support. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you soon.